Welcome back. It's your boy 90s Star Wars Kid, and we continue farming valuable cards in the Secrets of Power set in Star Wars Unlimited. We have 2 cases of boxes of boosters. This is the 4th box of the 2nd case, meaning we are now officially in the second half of the last case on this box, plus 2 more to go, and that is it. In this case, we have already pulled 1 showcase. It was a Governor Price. So we don't expect to get any more, but we certainly hope that we do. We start off with a regular DJ and then a hyperspace base. Let's get through the commons here. Then the uncommon, and the first rare of this box is Arrest with an uncommon hyperfoil. So the last box, we got a lot of good rare hits and then a couple good legendary hits. Unlikely that we are going to match that same number of hits in this box. Just not very common that you get so many decent cards. Moral Authority, I don't remember if that's worth anything or not, but I don't think so. And as a reminder, the biggest hit in this set right now is Amidala, going for about $30, making up about half the price of a box if we hit one. Uncommons, Fatun Pala, this is our first legendary of the box, going for a few bucks. And then I Am the Senate Spotlight Foil, unfortunately not worth anything below $1. All right, let's get through the commons. Uncommon, rare Mirage Sintel, unfortunately not worth anything. I think by this point in the last box, we already had like multiple near $10 rares. So like I said, very uncommon to get that many value cards, especially rare value, out of a box. Here we get a legendary Chopper. I'll have to check that one. I don't think it's worth anything. Maybe I was wrong about that one before too. Maybe Chopper is worth a few bucks, but if it is, it's only a few bucks because there's also a prestige version of Chopper. So, why would anybody want the regular version when you can get the prestige? And here the rare is 1 in a million, not worth anything because it's not actually 1 in a million. It's like 1 or 2 per box. All right, get through the commons here. Uncommon, Fulminatrix, and as always, looks like it should be an expensive card, but it's not. I believe it's less than $1. All right, no showcase here. Commons, common hyperspace, more commons. Uncommon, Major Partagaz, and a foil Restore Freedom. I think Major Partagaz is worth something. Restore Freedom is a rare, but it is not worth anything. And we are halfway through the second quarter of the box, making our way towards the halfway point. Uncommon, rare Bo-Katan, and she actually is worth between $2 to $3 right now, which is more than I thought, but far from a big hit. Getting through the commons. Oops, went too far. There's the commons. Now, uncommon, rare Implicate, and a common foil. I don't think Implicate is worth anything. So this is not shaping up to be a value box. We are very much hoping and banking on maybe an Amidala and a couple of Obi-Wans to have any chance of recouping most of the value. Uncommon, hyperspace rare Arrest. There's a Lando Calrissian and a rare Mirage Sintel. So typically, this if you were just opening a random pack, this would feel pretty good. Hyperspace rare, legendary, foil rare. Unfortunately, Arrest, I don't think even hyperspace is worth anything. Mirage Sintel isn't worth anything. And even Lando, a beloved character, I don't think his legendary card in this set is worth much of anything. But I'll have to check. Commons, hyperspace, common, uncommons. Uncommon, 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 hyperspace, rare, Arinda Price. I don't think her regular card is worth anything, but I'll have to check. Luthen Rail. Get through some commons. Uncommon, 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 rare, one way out, not worth anything. It's not worth anything. And then a common foil. So this box is looking very bad right now. We would need an incredible second half to pull this off. Uncommon, 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 rare Captain Rex, at least worth a couple of bucks, but nowhere near recouping the value here. Getting through the commons. Uncommon, 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 Cassian Andor, legendary. Fortunately, I was wrong about him when I thought this card wasn't worth anything, but it's only worth, I think, like $2.50, between $2 and $3. So we can only hope for 1 to 2 more legendaries in this box. Hopefully 2 with the way it's going, but there's really no way to bail us out at this point. We are definitely losing money on this box. Here we are at the uncommons. And here we have, this is another legendary, Hyperspace Vigil. Unfortunately, this card is probably only worth about $2. And then Chancellor Valorum is worth nothing. All right, let's see. So I think we have 2 packs left in the third quarter of the box. In quarter 3, uncommon, 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 rare, condemn, not worth anything, common foil. Last pack of the third quarter, 3PO, some commons, hyperspace common, uncommon, 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 special modifications might be worth $1. Foil condemn, not worth anything. Now we are in the final quarter, Q4, our last shot at redemption. It would be cool if there was another showcase in here, if that's why this box was such low value, but I think it's just actually low value. All right, we got a rare Zatone Maj, not worth anything, and a common foil. Mon Mothma. Get through the commons. Then we have an uncommon, 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 legendary Sonara San, which, keeping the pattern going, Sonara San is not worth anything. So we hit the 6 legendaries we could hope for, but these are almost the worst combination of legendaries we could get out of a 6 legendary box. Commons, common hyperspace, commons, uncommon, 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 rare escape pod, not worth anything, uncommon foil. Commons, uncommon, 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 rare Grand Moff Tarkin, followed by a common foil. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is what a bad box looks like. As exciting as our last box was, this one is not. Uncommon, uncommon, uncommon hyperspace, and a rare first light, followed by a common foil. So no showcases in that box. We're on the last pack here, looking for any help we can get on the way out. Uncommon, 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 rare Alexander Callis. That did not help at all. So I'll show you what we got here. On the legendary side, we have Sonara San, which I don't think is worth anything. Lando I need to look up, but I don't think it's way up there by any means. Chopper might be a few bucks. Vigil Hyperspace, maybe 2 or 3. Cassian, a few bucks. Vitun Pala, a few bucks. Special modifications, maybe $1. Captain Rex, a couple bucks. Bo-Katan, a couple bucks. Major Partagaz, $1 or $2. And then I think after that, we're probably looking at nothing. So Alexander Callis, First Light, Grand Moff Tarkin, Escape Pod, Zatone, Condemn, Chancellor Valorum, One Way Out, Orinda Price, Mirage Centel, Arrest, Implicate, Restore Freedom, Fulminatrix, 1 in a Million, Mirage Centel, I Am the Senate, Moral Authority, Arrest. So we'll see how those cards end up looking when I check the market prices. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is what a very sad box looks like. Here's to hoping box number 4 is back to the upside. I'll catch you for that one. Until then, I'm a 90 Star Wars kid.